Welcome to our channel United Coaching. Today we will discuss 25 biology questions. Our question is, who invented insulin? So is it Christian Bernard, Stenek, Edwards and Steptoe, or Frederick Banting? So answer is Frederick Banting. Insulin was discovered by Sir Frederick Banting, Charles Best and John MacLeod at the University of Toronto in 1921. Now Sir Frederick Banting and John MacLeod received the Nobel Prize in Medicine in the year 1923 for the discovery of insulin. It was an exceptional discovery for the people with type 1 diabetes, because earlier they were not able to live more than a year or two because their pancreas didn't produce insulin. So the answer to this question is Sir Frederick Banting. Our next question is, insulin preparation comes under which branch of biology? So is it social biology, biotechnology, genetic engineering, or parasitology? So answer is biotechnology. Insulin preparation comes under the branch of biotechnology. Our next question is, where do symbiotic microorganisms normally live in human body? So is it cecum, oral lining and tongue surface, or appendix and rectum, or duodenum? So answer is cecum. Cecum is the initial part of the large intestine, or also known as colon. Now colon does not contain digestive glands but harbors a number of microorganisms which feed on the food that is not digested. And also these microorganisms produce essential vitamins such as vitamin K and vitamin B complex. Our next question is, connective tissue originates from embryonic. So is it endoderm, ectoderm, mesoderm, or endomesoderm? So answer is mesoderm. The connective tissue originates from embryonic mesoderm. Now germ layer of embryo consists of 3 layers, that is endoderm, that is inner layer, ectoderm, that is outer layer, and mesoderm, that is the middle layer. And the endomesoderm is the cell layer that is not yet differentiated but is destined to give rise to both mesoderm and endoderm as the embryo will develop. So answer to this question is mesoderm gives rise to connective tissue. Our next question is, the wheat grain has an embryo with one large shield-shaped cotyledon known as, is it scutellum or coleoptile or epiblast or coleorhiza? So answer is scutellum. Now the scutellum can be compared to cotyledon in monocots, and coleoptile is a sheath protecting a young shoot tip in a grass, and coleorhiza is a sheet protecting a young root of a grass or cereal grain, and epiblast is a small flap like outgrowth and is also called a second cotyledon because it is not truly developed. Our next question is, roots play insignificant role in absorption of water in. So is it pea, wheat, sunflower, or water lettuce? So answer is water lettuce. Now water lettuce is a hydrophyte, and the main function of hydrophytic roots is for anchorage in the water and not for absorption of water, as the leaves can absorb water through osmosis. So the roots play insignificant role in absorption of water in hydrophytes, which over here is water lettuce. Our next question is, which of the following prevents the conversion of prothrombin to thrombin in an undamaged blood vessel? So is it heparin, calcium ions, thromboplastin, or fibrinogen? So answer is heparin. Heparin is an anticoagulant which prevents the conversion of prothrombin into thrombin. Now during blood clotting, prothrombin is converted into thrombin with the help of thrombokinase and calcium ions, and the fibrinogen is one of the 13 coagulation factors responsible for normal blood clotting. The thrombin that is produced further acts as an enzyme and converts fibrinogen to fibrin, which forms a fibrin based blood clot. So over here the answer is heparin, which is an anticoagulant. Our next question is, cytochrome C is found in. So is it cristae of mitochondria, lysosomes, or matrix of mitochondria, or outer wall of mitochondria? So answer is cristae of mitochondria. Now cytochromes are respiratory pigment proteins found in bacteria and the mitochondria of eukaryotes. They are involved in various electron transport system in oxidative phosphorylation, and the cytochrome C is a heme protein that is localized in the compartment between the inner and outer mitochondrial membranes, where it functions to transfer electrons between the complex 3 and complex 4 of the respiratory chain. So cytochrome C is found in cristae of mitochondria. Our next question is osmosis is the diffusion of. So is it solute particles, gases, water or energy? So as we already know, osmosis is the diffusion or movement of water. It is the movement of water from the region of high water concentration to the region of low water concentration. Our next question is viroids differ from viruses in having. So in a question like this, you have to remember that viroids contain RNA. So the DNA molecule options will cancel out. So now the option is RNA molecules with protein coat or without protein coat. So answer is viroids are RNA molecules without protein coat. And the viroids are the smallest infectious pathogens known, and they are composed solely of short strand of circular single stranded RNA that has no protein coating. So answer is C, RNA molecules without protein coat. Our next question is Blackman's reaction is part of. So is it glycolysis or glycolysis or respiration or photosynthesis or Krebs cycle? So answer is photosynthesis. Now this reaction is named after Frederick Blackman, who was an English botanist, and Blackman's reaction is the secondary part of the photosynthesis, wherein the chemical process of photosynthesis takes place without the use of sunlight, and in this reaction sugar is synthesized from carbon dioxide. So the answer is Blackman's reaction is part of photosynthesis. Our next question is antibodies are formed by. So is it T cells, monocytes, phagocytes or B cells? So answer is B cells. B cells produce antibodies. Our next question is ETC and TCA enzymes occur in. So ETC is electron transport chain and TCA is tricarboxylic acid cycle, and their enzymes occur in. So is it endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, mitochondria or cytoplasm? So answer is mitochondria. Both these reactions ETC and TCA occur in mitochondria, so obviously their enzymes would also be in mitochondria. Our next question is when proteins are used as respiratory substrate, that respiration is known as. So is it floating respiration, climacteric respiration, protoplasmic respiration or dark respiration? So answer is protoplasmic respiration. Now respiration which utilizes proteins as substrate is called protoplasmic respiration, whereas that uses carbohydrates or fats is termed as floating respiration. And the climacteric respiration is nothing but a rise in respiration during fruit ripening, and the dark respiration or simply respiration is the respiration in plants regardless of light, and which is dependent on the sugars as substrate which was produced during photosynthesis. So for the question about the proteins as respiratory substrate, the answer would be protoplasmic respiration. Our next question is Anticodon is found in. So is it tRNA, mRNA, rRNA or nRNA? So answer is tRNA. As you can see in the picture, the anticodon is found in tRNA and its corresponding codon is found in mRNA. Our next question is TAB vaccine or TAB vaccine is useful against. So is it polio, diphtheria, pertussis or typhoid? So answer is typhoid. TAB vaccine is a combination of vaccines used to produce immunity against typhoid, paratyphoid A and paratyphoid B. So as you can see, TAB is a short form of T for typhoid and A and B type of paratyphoid. Our next question is term vaccination was coined by. So is it Edward Jenner, Louis Pasteur, M.L. Fisher or Robert Koshland? So answer is Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner not only developed the first vaccine against smallpox virus, but he also named the process as vaccination. Our next question is fructose is absorbed into the blood through mucosal cells of intestine by the process called. So is it active transport or facilitated transport or simple diffusion or osmosis? So the option osmosis cannot be the answer because it is the movement of water. So the answer to this question is facilitated transport. Now the active transport is where the energy is required, and the other two options facilitated and simple diffusion are types of passive transport. Although osmosis is also a type of passive transport, but it is related to water. Over here we are discussing about fructose or the particle movement. So in simple diffusion the movement of small molecules occur without the requirement of energy, and in the facilitated diffusion the movement of large or charged molecule is happening where it requires a carrier protein, but still it does not require energy. So as fructose is a large molecule, so it requires a facilitated transport, but it does not require energy. Our next question is, plants store carbohydrates in form of starch instead of glucose because glucose attracts insects and herbivores, or glucose dissolves in water thereby altering the osmotic balance, or glucose is an unstable molecule, or because glucose is not used by plants. So answer is glucose dissolves in water thereby altering the osmotic balance. Now plants store food in form of starch, which is a long chain of glucose, and starch is insoluble in water, whereas glucose is soluble in water, and thus it will affect the water ratio in the cell. So answer is B, because glucose dissolves in water and alters the osmotic balance. That's why plants don't store carbohydrates in form of glucose, but instead they do it as in form of starch. Our next question is, bone and tendon contains. So is it actin, reticulin, collagen or elastin? So answer is collagen. Now collagen is a type of protein fiber found abundantly throughout our body, and it provides strength and cushioning to many different areas of body including the skin. But more specifically, collagen is found in connective tissues such as cartilage, tendons, bones and ligaments. And collagen fibers are very strong and can be compared to iron or steel. And actin is a major component of cytoskeleton, where they form a network that provides mechanical support, determines cell shape and allows movement of cell surface like engulfing particles, etc., and also helps in cell division. And elastic fibers or yellow fibers are bundles of proteins known as elastin, found in extracellular matrix of connective tissue. Now it provides elasticity and extensibility to the dermis. And elastic fibers stretch and recoil because they contain a rubber like protein called elastin. And whereas reticular connective tissue is found around the kidney, liver, spleen, lymph nodes, etc. And reticulum itself means a network or net like or mesh like structure. So obviously the reticular fiber would be found in organs where they have lot of mesh like internal structure. So the answer to this question that bones and tendons contain, that is collagen. Our next question is, which one of the following is not an enzyme of the pancreatic juice? So is it trypsinogen, chymotrypsin, trypsin or enterokinase? So answer is enterokinase. Enterokinase, or also known as enteropeptidase, is an enzyme produced by the cells of duodenum, and enterokinase converts trypsinogen, which is a zymogen, into its active form, that is trypsin. Now zymogen is nothing but inactive form of an enzyme. So the answer to this question is enterokinase is not the enzyme of pancreatic juice. Our next question is, when the RBC was kept in a solution, in few minutes it burst. So the solution must be, so is it hypertonic, isotonic, hypotonic or neutral? So answer is hypotonic. Hypotonic solution is a solution which contains less amount of solute and more amount of water. So if the RBC is kept in hypotonic solution, then osmosis will start happening, where the water molecules will move from hypotonic solution into the RBC, which has higher solute concentration. So due to this, the cell membrane of the RBC will not be able to withhold the pressure and it will eventually burst. So answer to this question is hypotonic solution will make the RBC burst. Our next question is, sarcomere is the distance between, so is it Z line and A band, two Z lines, or I band and H zone, or A and I bands? So answer is two Z lines. One sarcomere is marked by the distance between two consecutive Z disc or Z lines. So when the muscle contracts, the distance between the Z discs is reduced. So the sarcomere is defined as the distance between two Z lines. Our next question is, smooth muscles are. So in a question like this, you have to remember the location of smooth muscles, that is they are found in the walls of hollow organs like intestine, stomach, blood vessels, etc., where they are responsible for the involuntary movements of these organs. So obviously this will cancel out the voluntary muscle option. So now the other option with involuntary muscle is whether they are spindle shaped or cylindrical. So you have to remember that skeletal muscles are cylindrical cylindrical and multinucleated. So this will give us the option A, that is smooth muscles are involuntary, spindle shaped and uninucleate, that is they have a single nucleus which is centrally located. So the answer over here is option A. Our next question is acyl placentation is present in, so is it pea or argemon or dianthus or lemon? So over here you have to remember that acyl means attached to the central axis. So the option lemon is the correct answer because the seeds are present along the central axis.